The flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I do not believe we have any public participation. Is that correct, Ms. Allen? Haley? Okay. All right, next item is the approval of the agenda.
So moved.
When do I do that? I would like to make a motion to amend the agenda to include the addition of a one-year extension of the superintendent's contract.
Okay. We have a motion that was made by Mr. Turner but was not second. So we have another motion on the floor to amend the agenda to add the extension of the superintendent's contract for 1 year. Do I have a second for that motion?
Second.
Okay, got a second from here. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we'll add this as item number P under new business. Okay. All right, can I have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, been moving properly second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, superintendent's report, operations, Dr. Lockhart.
Yes, Madam Chair. Operations report, there are 3 items I'd just like to bring to your attention, 4 items. First, under maintenance and operations, maintenance received 723 work requests in June 2014, with 641 having been completed. There are 82 remaining work orders in progress, so again, want to commend the maintenance and operations department for really staying on top of those work orders. Several of our staff members attend the school safety conference July 8th through the 10th. This conference was sponsored by GEMA, the Georgia Emergency Management Organization, the DOE, and the United States Attorney's Office. This is the 3rd year the Operational Services has attended the conference, and again, always good for us to know the latest in making sure that our schools are safe. Student transportation. On Friday, July 11th, school bus drivers, school bus monitors, and other transportation department employees attended the annual pupil transportation orientation meeting and the Georgia Department of Education Safety Renewal Education Program at the Newton College and Career Academy. And again, just want to make sure that you know that our staff gets the professional learning that they need in order to be most effective in their work. The last note for operations I'd like to share is that Middle Ridge Elementary will receive the USDA Fresh Fruits and Vegetables Grant for the 5th year. Grants were awarded to schools with at least 84.6% of the students receiving free and reduced price meals. A grant was requested for Porterdale School, but they were not awarded the grant because they did not meet the percent cutoff. So again, we want to commend Middle Ridge for receiving that grant. And that concludes the operations report.
Okay, go ahead and proceed with curriculum and instruction.
Yes, ma'am. A curriculum instruction report. Just a few items to draw to your attention on page 2. Item number 5. A total of 80 high school students and 14 middle school students who completed the 2013-14 year at Ombudsman will be returning to their zone school on August 1st. Another item of note on page 3. On April 30th, the CTI program hosted the Newton County High School High Tech Award Ceremony at NCCA. 21 CTI students were awarded Toshiba laptop computers to assist them in post-secondary education or in their employment. Several of the computers were loaded with assistive technology software to help students as they complete high school and to attend post-secondary options. Approximately 80 proud parents, guardians, teachers, community members, and CTI coordinators were in attendance to witness the students receive their awards. And we just want to thank Mr. Woodard. I see he's here for all the work and leadership that he provides in that particular endeavor. So if you don't mind, I'd like to give him a round of applause for that good work. The last item would be on page 4, item 21. Just so you know that there were a couple of things going on during the summer. The 21st Century Summer Enrichment Camp was held June 9th through the 27th, and it was a huge success. We served about 280 students, grades K through 12, and those students, they had an opportunity to really enhance their academic skills. So again, just very proud of the work that the students and the faculty and staff put forth for some summer learning. And that concludes the CIT report.
Okay, thank you. Can I have a motion and a second for item number 6, the superintendent's reports?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, been moved and second by Ms. Coggan. Do we have any questions or discussion? Okay, I'll call for the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Okay, thank you, Dr. Lockhart. Old business,
Yes, ma'am. Policy JBCC, student assignment. The superintendent recommends policy JBCC be adopted as revised. This policy was reviewed during the month of June and is up for board action this evening. And with the student assignment, just to remind you, the current policy governing student assignment does not provide guidance for siblings of students enrolled in special instructional programs. This revision addresses siblings of students enrolled in special instructional programs and addresses hardships families may face in regards to transportation.
okay, you can go ahead with item B.
Item B, revision of NCSS policy JCEB. And the superintendent recommends that policy JCEB be revised. This policy was reviewed in June, and again, we're recommending board action this evening. And the background, in the fall of 2010, the Newton County Board of Education approved changes in the student disciplinary hearing procedure. The board approved changing the tribunal process to a hearing officer model. When this change in process was completed, the accompanying policy was not modified in accordance with the change. The recommendation is to modify the policy to agree with the practice, which has been in place since 2010. And it's changing, removing the word tribunal and replacing that with the word hearing officer.
Okay, thank you. Can I have a motion and a second for item 7 under old business, both items A and B?
I move that we approve items A and B under old business.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion before I call for the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you, Dr. Lockhart. New business, item A and B, Ms. Bullard.
Item A, the superintendent recommends the adoption of the FY15 millage rate as follows: 20 mills for the M&O rate and .45 mills for the debt service rate, for a total millage rate of 20.45. This is lower than it's been the last 4 years.
Okay, I'm gonna take it separately from B. Okay, can I have a motion and a second for item A to move it forward?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, been motioned and properly second. Any discussion?
Peggy, what is the debt service millage reduced from, 1.9 something?
1.9
Okay.
to 2.45.
Okay, any other discussion before I call for the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you. Ms. Bullard, item B.
The superintendent recommends that the budget for FY15 be amended to include a 3% increase to all salary schedules for the fiscal year rather than the 2% increase as originally approved. And this goes along with our tax digest. When we originally did our budget, we budgeted a 3% increase. It turned out to be 6.84%. And as our salaries have been stagnant and over the last 5 years, and they're not competitive with some of the other counties, we'd like to recommend a 3% increase versus 2%. Every little bit helps.
Okay, can I have a motion and a second to move it forward for discussion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's open for discussion. Any questions? Okay, I'm gonna call.
Just a question, this put us back at B, right, than the original? I think it was, the B was 2 days, so it was, so we want 2%, a step and a day, and so this one adds 1% above the 2%, so we're still at, now we'd be at 3%, a step, and a day.
Right.
I have those, oh, I missed it.
Go ahead, thank you.
Oh, I got your humor now. Yeah, I got it now. Yeah.
Okay, call for the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you, Ms. Bullard. Item C, Ms. Thomas, Dr. Thomas.
Good evening.
Good evening.
The superintendent recommends the purchase of Brain Pop subscription from Canova Incorporated. Brain Pop is an online program that creates animated, curriculum-based content to support educators and to engage students. Brain Pop can be used at home and at school. This resource includes movies, quizzes, experiments, timelines, activity pages, and it covers several content areas: math, science, social studies, English language arts, technology, arts, and music, and health. All of the content is aligned to and searchable by the state standards. The subscription will include Brain Pop for grades 3 through 8, Brain Pop Junior for grades K through 2, and Brain Pop ESL. The Brain Pop subscription is for the 21 Title I schools, and it is a total cost of $31,699.55.
Okay, can I have a motion and a second to move it forward for discussion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, been moving properly second. It's open for discussion. Any questions for Dr. Thomas? Okay,
Yeah,
I'll,
but why do we have this last year?
We've had it for the past 5 years.
Thank you.
okay, I'm gonna call for the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Dr. Thomas. Mr. Woodard?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Superintendent recommends the following parent representatives of Board of Directors for the Newton College and Career Academy be approved. Alcovey High School, Ms. Lynn Bugg. Eastside High School, Mr. Mike McQuarrie. And at Newton High School, we're still in the search of that parent, and we'll bring that back to the August board meeting. But our charter sets forth 3 parent representatives for the Career Academy. And this past year, all those, the parents who were on the board, their kids graduated, and so we need to replace these positions.
Okay, can I have a motion and second to move it forward for discussion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, been moving properly second. It's open for discussion. I have one question
Okay.
myself, actually. The only thing your charter calls for is a parent, like, do they have to have anything else
Calls for a parent representative from each of the 3 schools.
from each of the 3 schools? But do the parent have to have any kind of business background or anything?
No, but that's one of the things that the current board of directors has looked for, is someone with a business background.
Okay, okay, thank you. Any other discussion or questions? Okay, I'll call for the question on it. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you, Mr.
Okay,
Woodard.
thank you.
Ms. Lumens?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Item E, the superintendent recommends that select fresh fruits and vegetables needed for the school system be purchased from Dexter's Farm of Beaufort, Georgia. As background, in 1994, the Food and Nutrition Services began working with Agriculture Marketing Service and other agencies to explore options for providing more fresh fruit and vegetable products to schools. The Department of Defense led the resultant initiative and piloted a project to deliver fresh produce to schools and military installations nationwide. The pilot program began in 8 states and has grown over the past 20 years and now includes 46 states, the District of Columbia, Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, and Guam, and includes more than $100 million worth of produce annually. The DoD Fresh Fruit and Vegetable Program allows school systems to use their United States Department of Agricultural food entitlement dollars to buy fresh produce. The focus is on American-grown products, with as much as 20% of the items considered local, which is defined as grown in the state or adjacent states. Vendors in each state are awarded contracts as a result of competitively bid solicitations. Dexter's Farm is the awarded vendor in Georgia. In FY '15, the school system has approximately $235,000 in entitlement funds allotted to spend through the DoD program. These purchases will be made in addition to those utilizing the produce contract with Royal Food Service, which was approved in June of this year. This concludes item E.
Okay, can I have a motion and second to move item E forward for discussion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? I'll call for the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, go ahead and proceed.
Item F, the superintendent recommends the annually renewable contract for heating, ventilation, and air conditioning services be awarded to Air Conditioning Specialist Incorporated of Covington, Georgia. The effective date will be July the 23rd, 2014, and the expiration date will be July the 22nd, 2015. The invitation for bid was opened on July the 3rd, 2014, and there are 4 vendors who are listed in the memo with their labor cost, the apprentice helper cost, and the parts markup cost. Bids were evaluated based on the contractor's labor rates as well as their cost markups for parts, materials, and rental equipment. After review, it was determined the bid submitted by Air Conditioning Specialist Incorporated offered the lowest cost to the school system. The estimated annual value of this contract is $415,000. This concludes item F.
Okay, can I have a motion and second to move item F forward for discussion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, been moved and properly second. Floor is open for discussion before the question. Any discussion? I want to say thank you for putting it back like this with all the bids on there so we can see the price comparison. It's a big discrepancy on some of them. So thank you
Yes.
for doing that. Okay, call for the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you. Mr. Barr.
Item G. In item G, the superintendent recommends the adoption of a contract for membership in the Griffin RESA Educational Service Agency. Total cost of the contract for FY15 is $133,247.77. This contract includes, in summary, membership fees for the Georgia School Superintendents Association, provides for equipment repair services, audiology services, and orientation and mobility services. And that is item G.
Okay, you can go ahead and proceed with H. I think it'll be all right for us to do these two together.
In item H, the superintendent recommends the identified items be declared surplus and disposed of per board policy. The items for consideration this evening are from Veterans, Clements, Cousins, Indian Creek, and Liberty Middle Schools, Oak Hill, Mansfield, Middle Ridge, South Salem, and West Newton Elementary Schools, Newton High School, and the Service Center. And that concludes item H.
Okay, can I have a motion for G and H to move both of them forward, please?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, moved and properly second. Floor is open for discussion.
One question, the membership dues, is that standard, all participants pay the same amount, or is it based on usage of what other formula?
I believe it's a prorated amount between the school systems that participate in Griffin Racing.
Thank you, sir.
Any other discussion or questions? I'll call for the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you, Mr. Barr. Mr. Satterfield. I'm going to do all of yours together. too.
Okay. Good evening.
Good
Good
evening.
First item I, contractual agreement with Go Solutions Group. The superintendent recommends the approval of the attached service agreement between the Newton County School System and Go Solutions Group Incorporated for Medicaid billing and administrative outreach services. Go Solutions Group Incorporated provides assistance with actual enrollment of new Medicaid-eligible students, billing for services, and informing the school system of programs and activities that are potentially reimbursable. Item J, the superintendent recommends the approval of the attached agreements between the Newton County School System and the following providers to provide speech and occupational therapy services to the students with disabilities in accordance with their individual IEP programs. Item K, the superintendent recommends the approval of the attached agreements between the Newton County School System and the following individual to provide sign language interpreter services to students with disabilities in accordance with their IEPs.
Okay, can I have a motion for items I, J, and K?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, been moved and properly second. Floor is open for discussion. No discussion, I'll call for the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Mr. Satterfield. Okay, Dr. Lockhart, you're up.
Item L, revision of NCSS policy JK. Recommendation, the superintendent recommends that policy JK be revised. This policy will be reviewed in July and August with recommended changes acted on by the board in August. Background, the board policy governing solicitations limits the number of school-wide fundraisers schools may conduct in a given year. Due to economic conditions and the need to have quality programs, events, and initiatives at the school level, the superintendent recommends removing these limitations. The principal must approve all school-level fundraising activities, and the policy is attached.
Okay.
This is to be tabled.
Okay, according to our policy, this will sit on the table for 30 days, so we'll take a look at it in August. You can go ahead and proceed to M.
Item M, authorization for superintendent to employ or transfer staff. Recommendation, the superintendent requests that she be authorized to employ or transfer staff during the first month of school as enrollment and class size equity within the district demands. And this is a waiver that we authorize yearly.
Okay, can I have a motion and a second to move
So
item
moved.
M?
Second.
Okay, do we have any discussion? I'll call for the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you, Dr. Lockhart. Item N, Ms. Fury.
Yes, I recommend the local board governance annual report be completed as required by the Georgia Department of Education. This document sets forth the yearly training requirements, and we'll need your signatures before you leave today so that we can get that document submitted on your behalf.
Okay. On this document, though, we don't have to actually vote on this item because it's a requirement.
Right.
Okay, so I'll move forward to item O.
I think you do have
It's
to
the
take a vote,
request.
yes.
We still have to approve?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just approve that, what you
I
have is-
digress.
Yes.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Okay, so let me have a motion and a second for item N.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right, Dr. Lockhart, item O.
Item O, the superintendent requests that the board approve the personnel recommendations made in the executive session.
Okay, can I have a motion and a second for item O, please?
So moved.
Second.
Okay,
Excuse me.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you, Dr. Lockhart. Item P, I will present as chair. It is the superintendent's request to extend her contract for 1 year, which will replace ending June 2016 to June 2017. Okay, can I have a motion and a second to?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, been moved and properly second. Floor is open for discussion. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, very good. Other matters of interest?
Yeah, I have one thing, Madam Chair. I've had some discussion with some people as questioning how well our school system is doing. And for my satisfaction and as well as other people's satisfaction, I talked with Ms. Fury. And some very encouraging information and numbers that she shared. So I think it's important that she share that with the public and the media so they can kind of post it to show how we stand in the state of Georgia, how we compare with the other systems in the state of Georgia. So, Ms. Fury, you mind doing that?
I do not mind. We actually had a chart prepared for our original press release regarding the EOCT scores. So that's what we have data on regarding where we are compared to the state, where we are compared to where we were last year. And this is just the most recent data. And then we were able to determine system rank. So I've got a document that I would like to share with you. And Sherry, you want? Thank you. So this document shows our EOCT results from this year and then compares them to last year. And so you'll note, as you already know, that we've improved in 5 of 6 areas. And mathematics is still a sore spot for the school system, but it is an area that we are working feverishly to improve. And if you'll note, if I'm just going to go down to the center and take a look at coordinate algebra, because there's something there I'd like to point out. So the system improved from a dismal 19. It was not good. We recognized and acknowledged that, but we improved 10 points from that point, and this is prior to retests, and we have a good feeling about the number of students who were eligible, who did retest, and who posted passing scores. What's interesting is that to further demonstrate the state's struggle, the school system actually moved from 145th ranking in coordinate algebra to 102nd. So 10 points is very significant in movement when we consider statistically significant 3 points. So 10 is pretty good clip of improvement. By no means is it where we wish to be. We are focusing and continuing to focus our efforts both in coordinate algebra and analytic geometry. At the same time, the state also improved, but their rate of improvement was only 3 points. And so we outpaced them by way of the performance and the number of points that we improved in coordinate algebra. And so what I did was I took a look at each of the EOCT subjects just to give you an idea of where we land in the state. And so in 9th grade literature, we are 57th, which actually means that we outperformed 123 other systems. In American literature, we're 53rd, which means we outperformed 127 other systems. And we've already talked about coordinate algebra, which, again, mathematics is an area for us to continue to work. But we did outperform 78 other school systems. Analytic geometry was a new test this year, so there's no comparative data. But we did fairly decent when you consider the state number. We are 75th in the state, outperforming 105 other school systems. In biology, we are 79th, which is posting better than 101 other school systems. Physical science, we are 65th, posting better than 115 school systems. U.S. history, we are 29th in the state. We are posting better than 151 other school systems. And economics, we are 34th in the state, posting better than 146 other school systems. With a rate of improvement of 83%, we actually improved in physical science as well, but it was not statistically significant, so I didn't count it as a rate of improvement, but technically we did improve. So our high schools have shown a rate of improvement of roughly 100%. So there's a great news to be discussed in our end-of-course test results. Again, we're not at the end of the road. However, it's important to remember that the end-of-course test will sunset in all but coordinate algebra and analytic geometry for the coming school year, where our high school folks will take the end-of-grade, the end-of-course assessments under the new Georgia milestone. So we're going to be faced with several new challenges, but in addition to the improvements that we've seen in our posting of scores, we've also seen great improvement in the percent of students who are exceeding. And when you listen to the testing people at the Department of Education, what they'll tell you is that the more students you move from the meets category to the exceeds category will tend to fare better for you on the milestones assessment. So we are working feverishly to address our areas of weakness. and also recognize the hard work and dedication of our teaching staff and our administration, because they've worked hard to get us to where we are. We don't have all of the information about the CRCTs, but as soon as we do, we'll be happy to provide an update on that as well.
Great. Do you have those percentiles as to how we actually rank out of the schools in the state? Because that was very enlightening to me.
Like, in other words, like 16%, we're the top
Exactly.
16%?
Exactly.
I don't have them on this sheet, but I can add them if you wish.
Good, yeah. Okay.
Can I have you add something else? You don't have to, only if you have space. I'm a very visual person, so I like the fact that you stated outperform, and I know you have state rank of 180 systems and have where we're ranked, but like if I just look at it and I see outperform this number versus looking at,
You want me to add that?
57,
Okay.
like the outperform the 100 in,
Sixties.
yeah.
So I can add another column that goes along with the column that identifies where we are. Yes, I can do that.
Even though it states that, but just
The
the
converse.
average person won't have a calculator and
Right.
sit there and,
Right.
And I think this is very important to let the public know that we are identifying our weaknesses.
Yes.
But we're doing things to improve,
Yes.
as well as the success that we've had over the years in our improvement. So that means that we're on the right track.
Yes.
And as anybody knows, things don't happen overnight.
Right.
And so I think this is good information for people to have. Thank you very much.
You are most welcome.
yeah, thank you so much, and thank everybody for their hard work.
Madam Chair, may I continue?
Sure.
In other matters of interest, I have just a couple of things. All offices on July the 28th, all schools and central office buildings will be closed until 1 p.m. on July the 28th to accommodate a system-wide back-to-school meeting. So we'll all gather to have a huddle of the entire system, and so everything will be closed until 1 p.m. on Monday. We've also got to determine the whole board training. And so you should have a copy of the schedule for the year in your folders. You don't have to decide tonight, but by the time we meet in August, if you could have a date when we'll go for whole board training, I would appreciate it, so we can turn in our state report by the end of the month of August. Open house for our elementary schools will be Wednesday, July 30th, and elementary schools as well as the theme school, the Newton County Theme School, from 5 to 7 on Wednesday, July the 30th. Our high schools will also have open house on Wednesday, July 30th from 6 to 8. Our middle schools, their open house will be Thursday, July 31st from 5 to 7. School begins, to the chagrin of many students who are looking forward to sleeping in, but on August the 1st, they'll report to school. Friday, August the 1st, is the first day of school. And then finally, I'd like to acknowledge an achievement by way of our grant writing team and Ms. Dina Sams. We were selected. They wrote a grant for the after-school academic program for 3 programs to service multiple schools. And we just received notification yesterday, or the day before yesterday, that we were selected and approved. And the grant total over the course of 5 years is $1.7 million for three grants. So there's a significant amount of dollars by way of the grant to serve our students in the after-school setting at no charge. So parents should be on the lookout for information for continuation of programming and also the addition of new programming by way of 3 separate grants. We're really proud of them.
Very good.
And may I say, we give Ms. Sams an applaud for her efforts in getting this money?
Yes, Dr. Garber. She and Dr. Garber were here preparing the grants until 11, midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, dotting every I and crossing every T, because as you well know, the after-school programming is really important for our families. And so to be able to offer that for the next 5 years, as long as we meet all the requirements over the course of the 5 years, to be able to offer that service to our community and families is very important. So I thank them both as well.
Okay, very good. Any other matters of interest? I just want to wish everyone a successful and safe first day of school, since we won't meet again. We'll meet after that. So hopefully everything will go smooth, especially with transportation, Mr. Barr. You know, those buses that first day always, but we had smooth sailing last year, so, okay. Any other matters of interest? Okay, can I have a motion to adjourn, please?
Second.
Okay, been moved and properly second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, very good. Meeting adjourned.